Hello guys, welcome back to another video today with ARC Exotics, and in this video we're going to be showing you the perfect basic setup for a ball python if you want to keep it as a pet. Now most people, when they keep ball pythons, in all places really, in the UK, America, loads of places, do rack systems. Now we're not going to be showing you a basic rack system setup, we're going to be showing you a basic pet setup if you wanted to keep it as a pet. In your living room or even in your bedroom, but just as a general pet, having just the one snake or even a couple, not having them in block masses. So basically we're going to be running you through that and what is advised as the best conditions to be set up in, meaning overhead heating instead of underbelly, stuff like that. So we've basically done some research, found the best online setup you could do from studies and research on how the snakes behave, and that is what we have tried to recreate. We've just recently added our snake to it. He's not even been in there a week. He's been in there about 3 days, but we fed him on a second day and he ate straight away. And you guys know that is already a good sign because they are quite finicky eaters. So what we're going to do is do a little walkthrough of that. Probably won't show you the new snake yet because he's in the hide and he only ate 2 days ago, so I don't really want to disturb him too much. So other than that, let's get into the video. So guys, one last thing before we get into today's video. Basically I want to talk a little bit about what I'm drinking my tea from right now. This is my mug from Merch Print Yorkshire. Now there's a little bit mucky there because I'm already using it. They sent me two, and do you know what? I thought, oh, it's just a mug, like it's not a big deal, but the way they've come out extremely clean, extremely detailed, and the logo looks great, so I'm really happy about them. Now I've got two, obviously one I'm using for myself as you can see now, and another I'm not sure what to do. Perhaps I could give it away to you guys, but let me know if you'd be interested in that. Basically all I'm saying is you've got to check them guys out. They do custom t-shirts and custom mugs and vinyl and print stuff onto t-shirts, designs, logos, stuff like that. So if you need anything like that, especially if you're in the UK, then jump over to them on Instagram and go and check them out. Right guys, so we are now in the other room, the reptile room, and a little sneak peek is coming along nicely. We've got some nice stuff coming in here, so basically we're going to get into a rundown of the tank. So starting from the outside, what we've got is a Haberstat pulse proportional thermostat. Now these are really important bits of kit and you must have them. Now I know a lot of people still have them on the rack systems and they use them for multiple snakes, but this is just used for the one individual snake. Now if you don't know what this is, it basically regulates your temperature so it doesn't go over a certain temperature of what it is set to, meaning it can't overcook and overdo your snake and make it way too hot for him, which is good. Now on here we have a humidity gauge and a temperature gauge. The temperature gauge is to be placed under the hot side and the humidity gauge in the middle, midway up, and that is the best way to monitor the humidity as well. So they are crucial bits of kit for reading how your snake is doing. Now this is a very basic setup, but it is perfect for what you need, especially for a ball python, a snake that isn't very active. Now starting on this side, we've got a large water bowl. A large water bowl is always good because it helps with humidity, getting the humidity there from the evaporation of the heat source, which is up there. Now the big water bowl is also good so they can soak in it as well, because a lot of snakes will like to soak if they're coming up for a shed or anything like that. Now we also have a cold hide here, which is basically just a little log cave, which we'll try and show you. And it is also nice and dark in there as well, so if he wants to feel secure, that is where he can go to. Now moving on to an important step, this stuff here. Now we know that there's a lot of controversy in what substrate to use for a ball python. Here in the UK it is a no-brainer for me and a lot of other people. We use Herp Husk. Now this is a product from Herp Exotics and Simon Ling. Now a lot of people use this. It's relatively new to the market, but The reviews of it have been absolutely incredible. So if you want to get yourself some of this and have the same setup and substrate as me, then head over to Herp Exotics or Ridgeway Exotics on Facebook and check them guys out and get yourself some. So we've covered the cold hide, the water bowl and the bedding or substrate. Now we've got a little bit of foliage in the top corner here just because it adds to the whole look of a tank, because in a rack system you can't visually see it, so it doesn't visually matter, but I can obviously come and back visually see it, and it just adds, fills up a corner, so you can have as much as this or as least as you want. We also have a little bit more greenery there just to fill it out a little bit more. Now if we shut this side and open this side, above here we have a very basic LED strip light bar, which, well, it sort of does exactly what I've just said. All it is a very basic LED daylight light source, just so we can have a day and night cycle and not get confused. Now rack systems sometimes have the fear of being a bit too dark during the day. This won't, because you've got a day and night cycle, and you can have it on a timer as well. So if you're away, you can just have it go on and off as you wish on a good cycle. Now, he's actually in here, but you probably won't be able to see him. He's basically in there chilling. You also need a hot hide under the hot side, which is this here. And what we've got is a bit of log for him to climb up. Now, as far as our overhead heating, this is called a symmetric heat emitter. Now, this is obviously meant to recreate the heat more in the wild for these sort of snakes, because instead of having underbelly heating, they won't get that in Africa, they won't get that in the snake burrows and stuff like that, so it's not beneficial to them naturally. They'd naturally be under a burrow and the heat would go through the dirt and underneath into them, which a symmetric heat emitter recreates more perfectly. So basically there's a few components there. There is a shield which penetrates the heat downwards, and a guard so he can't burn himself, and they are much more accurate than heat mats and much more controlled as well. So other than that, we have the Haberstat probe down the back there. You can just about see it. That keeps an eye on the temperature of that to make sure it doesn't get too hot. And also you need to make sure you've got enough ventilation, like we have one at the top and one at the bottom down there. So basically this is everything you need for a very basic ball python setup. This size here is perfect for a male, and to be fair, potentially a female depending on how you keep them, but you've got to consider the size they stay in rack systems. This is going to be absolutely fine for an adult male. So if you have any questions on this, or I haven't covered anything, then let me know and we will get back to you straight away. And one last thing that we potentially might have forgot, this little bit of cork here, if it will focus, this is a lock and they're extremely important. Obviously we all know that ball pythons aren't colubrids and they are big bodied snakes, meaning that if they wanted to scale the side of this and use their weight to push the glass open, they can, but this lock prevents that from happening. So also get yourself a lock, because they are much more secure and you don't have to worry about your snake getting out. Now we will show the snake a little bit more, but that is for a later video. So guys, that is basically the video in a nutshell. We've covered everything such as suitable tank size, substrate, water dish, hides, lighting, heating and security, and obviously husbandry as well, so things like the Haberstat, the temperature gauge, the humidity gauge, stuff like that, the correct lighting like I say, and literally that is it. If you want to keep it as simple as possible but still have a little something in there for it to use, I feel like as soon as he will get confident in the tank, he will be using the log that I have going from one side to the other. He'll be using that, and he'll just be making a little bit more like sort of do with what he's got. There is in a tub or a rack, there's limited stuff you can do, and I totally understand that is for sort of breeding projects and breeding purposes. And like I say, it's just, you know, I know a lot of people who aren't in the hobby think that's cruel. It's not necessarily cruel, but a lot of people want to know the correct way of setting it up, meaning a vivarium. So hopefully you have understood that video and appreciated it, and if you do want to do something like that and you have any questions, then let me know and we can sort something out, have a little chat and go through your setup as well. But that is the very basics done correctly, in my opinion, and that is only my opinion, but I think a lot of people will agree with me. So yeah, other than that, that basically cuts out the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful to you as well. So other than that, like I say, one last thing on the mugs, remember to check out Merch Print Yorkshire to get yours, especially if you're in the UK as well. Other than that, thank you for watching the video. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.